Who am I? Why am I here? And what do I have to say? I'm David Brown. I'm a commercial photographer. It's not just what I do, it's who I am. To most of you, that doesn't mean very much. To the rest of the world, well, it probably means even less. I never really desired to master any one particular kind of photography. I always treated my career as sort of a visual buffet. Many of my peers have told me I need to specialize. They are wedding photographers or portrait photographers or sports photographers and so on. I doubt I would have survived long in this field if I did that. My attention span is akin to a squirrel crossing a busy highway. I would be bored to tears if I were confined to the four walls of my studio every day. How many portraits can you take or sunsets can you capture before it becomes routine, even mundane? Instead, I have focused on being competent in many forms of photography. Because of this, my life and my career have taken me to many amazing places. I've had some tremendous successes, and I've made some heartbreaking mistakes. As a photographer, I have walked the hallowed grounds of Dealey Plaza, trying my best to capture what happened there on 35mm film. It's a solemn place, to be sure, where on a warm Texas day in November 1963, the once President of the United States, John F. Kennedy, sadly met his fate, an assassin's bullet. Standing there, I could almost hear the shots as they echoed through the plaza, and hear the screams of the spectators along the route as they fell to the ground in horror. I photographed the launch of the Space Shuttle Atlantis in 2009. Peering through my 450mm lens at the minimum safe distance of 3.5 miles, I watched as the main engines lit and saw the sound waves as they traveled across the water towards me. And though the trip would cost me more than I would ever make from the images themselves, having grown up in the time of Apollo, it was an experience that would be hard to match. In 2011, I went to sea on the USS Enterprise, where I captured F-18 Super Hornets and other aircraft as they roared off the flight deck. I photographed their twists and turns, climbs and dives in an almost aerial ballet of courage and skill. Looking around, there was no land in sight, and the ocean was so blue, mere words could never describe how it makes you feel. I've explored the Pacific Northwest and looked out upon vistas I didn't even know existed. It was the triple crown of photography. To go somewhere I'd never been, to see and do things I never dreamed of, and all this only with the things that I could carry. It is the moments like those that sustain us. In 2017, I flew in a KC-135 supertanker with the 121st Air Refueling Wing. I laid in the refueling pod as a giant C-5 Galaxy emerged through the clouds and quenched its thirst, filling the windows before me. So close, I felt I could almost reach out and touch it. I spent the night on a World War II submarine. Thanks to the crew, I got to see parts of the boat the average visitor never gets to see. The next morning, I sat on her deck with a thermos of coffee and watched the sun come up. Later, I even got to fire her deck gun. I have captured the magnificent celestial display as the moon slowly blocked the sun, turning day into night. With every click of my shutter, a little more of the life-giving rays disappeared. As hard, dark shadows fell everywhere, and the sky turned from blue to red, to photograph a total solar eclipse once in a lifetime is a priceless gift. I got to do it twice. Through my lens, I've recorded door cars and dragsters passing at me at speeds I can't even fathom going, and at little more than arm's length away. The roar of the engines, the smell of the exhaust, the tire smoke, then the light goes green, and in a matter of seconds, it's over. Using long exposures and very little common sense, I photographed Mother Nature in all her fury and might, turning the black sky to blue as fingers of light stretched out in every direction. All this and more, preserved forever, on high-resolution 8x10 prints that adorn the walls of my studio and my home. These are just some of my experiences, moments and events that will never come again, at least not in my lifetime. So I am fiercely thankful that because of this little box of glass and steel, for all the things I've gotten to see and do, for all the people I've gotten to meet along the way. But I am also powerfully aware that there is still so much more, and time is always short. Photography is the art of capturing the present, because as soon as the shutter clicks, in just that fraction of a second, it becomes the past. Someone once said to me that birth certificates will show that we were born, and one day, death certificates will show that we died. But photographs show that we lived. As I got older, I came to understand that this is true no matter which side of the lens you're on. That photography, for me, had become something new, equal parts of making a living and making a life. These photos, these moments in time, will live on long after I've shuffled off this mortal coil. What are my living memories now will be someone else's keepsakes later. It's good to be able to make a living at your chosen profession, but to elevate the pursuit of money or wealth above the work, no matter what you do, seems almost Sisyphean, an exercise in futility, if you will. I drive an 18-year-old car, and like me, it looks its age, but it's dependable. I live in a small, modest home, but it's clean, and it's warm, and it's mine. My dog Shutter is not an AKC registered anything, but he's funny, and he's smart, and he's gentle. Just a scruffy-looking rescue mutt I adopted when he was barely 8 weeks old. And he has been my companion on many adventures. So I ask myself again, who am I? Why am I here? And what do I have to say? I'm a storyteller, just one of the thousands, maybe millions of photographers that have come and gone in the last 200 years since the art was invented. Now, I love history. Through the medium of photos and video, we can look back at the moments that now define us. Great triumphs mixed with terrible tragedies. Evil dictators bent on world domination to benevolent souls just trying to make the world a better place. Through these photographs, we have an opportunity to understand not just what happened, but also why and how. It is an amazing gift. So with photos as my guide, I'm going back in time to discover the people, places, and things that helped shape our world today.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
None fascinates me more than the Second World War. Armed conflict has existed for as long as humans have been sharpening sticks. But from the late 1930s to the mid-1940s, our entire world was on fire. Tens of millions died, and whole cities, even countries, were laid waste. Empires crumbled, and evil dictators were brought down. In the wake of the Second World War, colonialism was defeated, and new independent countries emerged. Fascism was destroyed, only to be replaced by communism. and a new war, a Cold War, began. 3 generations have come to pass since World War II ended. The living memory of those who were there is quickly fading, and soon, very soon, there will be none left. If you were 18 years old on December 7, 1941, when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, you would be 102 today. And when they're gone, we will have lost another priceless treasure. It falls to the historians, the scholars, the educators, and the enthusiasts to learn, to understand, and to tell their stories over and over again for each successive generation, so that these experiences, these sacrifices, will never be forgotten. Because they should never be forgotten. And maybe, just maybe, somewhere along the way, you might share some of your experiences, your journeys with me too. For we are all just stories in the end. Make yours a good one.